Hi, my name is Victoria. This video will show you how Black Creek Homestead was established. Cody and I met back in 2010. From the start of our relationship, he had always told me of his dreams of owning land, having his own animals, farming, that kind of stuff. And at first I was really scared. I had moved to the country from the city, so this was all new to me, and I really had never really thought about that lifestyle. At the time, we were living in a small town, so we didn't really have options to have animals. So we were really looking for a country property so that we could take a chance at raising our own meat, having animals, and having land to put them on. Shortly after, probably about a year, Cody ended up finding a country property, 4 acres, that did need a lot of TLC, so we ended up putting all the time in to make it to what we wanted it to be. We ended up putting in fencing through a good majority of the property so that we could have our own animals and raise our own meat there. So we kind of got into just about everything right off the bat. So we got cows, chickens, turkeys, pigs, goats, ducks. Kind of just went in head first and just got everything. We just wanted to see if this was kind of the lifestyle that we were interested in, and just jumping in kind of started us off. The reason we did this was so that we knew where our meat came from. A lot of the time when you buy from the grocery store, you just don't know what it's fed, how it's treated. So that was our big concern, is that we wanted to raise all our own meat, know it had a good life. And honestly, the meat is so much better when you do it yourself and when you know what it eats, that you put the time in. It's just honestly so much better. After 4 years on that property, we realized that 4 acres just wasn't enough for what we wanted to do. So living down south, farmland is very expensive, and we just honestly couldn't afford to buy more land down there. So we started looking up north for property. We came up multiple weekends camping, just kind of trying to figure out what area we were more drawn towards. So when we were looking, we came across 35 acres of farmland. We weren't really interested in just farmland. We were looking for more farmland and bush mix, but it was such a good deal. We honestly just couldn't turn it down. So we ended up buying it. It was 35 acres of farmland for $45,000. We had the property for a year. We would just kind of come up here camping, and we ended up moving a trailer up here just to stay in while we came up for the summer. Just random weekends throughout the year. We put our house on the market. It was for sale within 3 days of being on the market. It happened so fast, we honestly weren't even ready for anything. So we ended up staying in our friend's basement for a year just to prepare and get everything kind of on the go. During that time of living with our friend, we got all our house plans done, our permits in place to start the build in that summer coming up, and we watched so many how-to videos on just how to do everything. Cody and I had never done anything like this, never built a house from scratch. We did tons of renovations in our last 2 houses, but starting from scratch is a lot different than just renovating and kind of fixing up. Before we knew it, we were moving up north, quitting our jobs. Cody was taking on the task of building our house full time, and I was looking for any kind of work just to help pay the bills. We started by putting in the laneway so there was access to bring all the material back to where the build site was going to be. Building the house ourselves was a lot of work. You honestly don't realize how much goes into it. You just think, oh yeah, we'll build a house. But it was so much work. We ended up building before the COVID prices hiked all the lumber costs and all that, so that was really nice. During the summer of the build, we recruited some friends to come up and help us with our foundation, putting up the walls on the house, putting the roof on, and sheeting it. Once the house was fully closed in, Cody and I were able to work away at finishing everything without worry of the weather damaging anything. Because we took on the task of doing everything ourselves, the build ended up taking us a lot longer than we had anticipated. But honestly, we saved so much money, and we just had to invest our time to do it. We're still working on finishing touches, but that's minor considering to where we came from. Remember, this was just a hayfield, so I can live with some trim not being done. During those years, we weren't just building a house, we were building a homestead also. We put in pasture for our animals, we grew amazing gardens each year to help us cut down on our food costs. We cut, baled, raked all our own hay into small squares to feed our animals throughout the winters. There is so much extras that also took up so much of our time during the build that kind of pushed the build aside a lot of the time. Our house is fully off-grid, which was fully wired by Cody himself. We took out the ESA permit with homeowner doing all the work. It is 600 square feet on our main level, and then we have half of it is cathedral and the other half is a bedroom loft. Under the whole main level, we have a crawl space that is accessible from the inside of the house. It has cement floor, which is super nice. Lots of storage down there, which is what you need when you have a tinier house. Our main source of heat is a wood stove, and we have a dug well that we dug 2 summers ago that we dug all ourselves because of the price of drilled wells. It had skyrocketed between the time that we first took a quote out till the time we were actually going to do it. I think it went up to like $20,000. Started out at like 13. So at 13 we thought was too much money, but once it got to 20, it just wasn't within our budget to even do that. We wanted to spend more of our money on the house as opposed to the well, which I know sounds funny, but you need drinking water. So we just took the chance that we would get a dug well. Our neighbor has one, so we weren't really too concerned. We knew that we'd hit water somewhere. We cut costs on places that we could maybe upgrade down the road, so we got a used kitchen and used bathroom cabinets. This allowed us to spend more money on stuff that was going to stay for a long time. So like our shiplap walls, it was a bit more money than drywall, obviously, but I love the look of the shiplap way better than drywall, and it's a lot easier to install, and it doesn't include me mudding and messing things up. Nothing about this lifestyle is easy. It does take a lot of teamwork as a couple and puts a lot of strain depending on the tasks that you're working on. There's lots of long days and nights, and it's really hard when you get all your animals and all that to just up and leave. There's lots of planning that goes into making sure they have water, making sure they have feed, even like sometimes having neighbors come by just so you can actually go away for a day, because too, when we have like calves and that, they need milk replacer every day and night, and that takes a lot of time. It's hard to leave for a weekend. You have your animals that rely on you. Because we're off grid, we have our solar system that needs monitoring. We have our wood stove as our main heat. We have to make sure that there's wood in the fire to keep this place warm. We've come such a long way from where we started, and we continue to learn and grow new ways to make our lives easier. We're excited to take you on this journey as we have big plans for the future of Black Creek Homestead. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe so you get our latest videos. See you next time.